Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fighting CPS and Stop Taking Our Children. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and it's a warm welcome. I want to welcome all my returning family that comes on here twice a day and all you new people. We have a new person just joined YouTube. Welcome, Wayne Harris. And he just joined this room, and he says, never happened to high-class family or Mexicans or Asians, only blacks. I don't know what you're talking about, never happens. I don't think it's only the blacks. I think it's the Hispanic and the Caucasians and the Asians and the blacks are taken by CPS. Okay. Natalie,
Hello?
hey,
Hello?
how you doing?
Bob?
I can't
I'm
believe.
fine, Bob. It's Natalia.
Yeah, Natalia, I haven't talked to you for months, and I was worried about
I
you.
know. Yeah, I know. I got sick. I had 4% hemoglobin, and I couldn't breathe, and they took me into the hospital, and I had surgery on my uterus, and they took out the tumor. It was 9 by 9 centimeters.
Wow, big tumor.
It was a big tumor, and then the recovery was kind of okay. It was a little harsh, but and then I just was pretty much. My brother kind of helped me, but then he didn't, and then I had a lot of stuff to do with the house because they keep harassing me about nonsense. You know how it is, the city of West Hollywood. But and then I got like detained for the Beverly Hills Police for an hour because I took a plastic bottle out of a container in an alley. So I have to go to court and plead not guilty. But I'm doing okay. I didn't forget about everybody, and I don't have internet because it's expensive here.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard from you, and I started messaging you, and hopefully you're okay. For all my listeners right now, this is Natalia, and she's from West Hollywood, and she had a CPS case, and she's been with us for at least a year, and she comes on all the time, but her case is very difficult because it's a long story, but she unfortunately had many things work against her. So I'm so glad you're all right. I'm sorry to hear about that.
I'm black. I'm bad. I'm back. I'm glad I'm back here because I lost. Even the police, Beverly Hills Police, stole my phone. They stole it. They opened my jacket and then they refused to give me my phone back.
Why was that?
What? What?
Why was that? Why would they steal your phone?
I have no idea. It was really strange. The police woman was like, we have to keep it because we have to look into it. I was like, well, why? There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. And I was like, well, can you give me my phone back? They gave me everything else back, like the pencils and my perfume and my jacket. And they were mad because somebody called, said that I was going in the trash bin, but it was, I told him it's in a public way, it's in an alley. He's like, well, you can't do that. And she handcuffed me. She handcuffed me like 2 weeks ago. I was in the alley and I was kind of oozing a bit, but I don't ooze as much. I used to bleed like continuously. I could not breathe, Bob. It's happened before Christmas. So I couldn't even breathe during Thanksgiving. So wow. And then so finally the neighbor, he called 911, and so they told me if I didn't come in, I would just fall asleep and die.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they said that. And I've had an experience that's kind of traumatic with it, but I'm happy the tumor is gone. But people were actually nice to me when I came back home, which is quite unique.
Okay.
And, usually they're kind of rude to me here. They're like, one woman down the street was saying, "I'm so glad you're back." Like, this woman never talks to me. And then one lady, yeah, she's always nice. She was a student in a building. But yeah, my CPS case is probably the most, probably like, I have to say, like, most, I guess every CPS case is very, they're all very unique, but mine is basically like pattern because of the judge. That's her behavior, you know, and it does cause a lot of problems for everybody. So thank you.
Well, we've been going along slowly. Faye has not been on much because of her double case of pneumonia.
Oh, she has pneumonia? Oh my God.
A double dose of it.
That's scary.
And then KK Richardson does come on. Margaret King comes on. Betty from Montana comes on. I have a whole list of people. You probably recognize some of them. They still come on.
I didn't know Betty. I don't know. I know KK. I know Faye. And then who else was again?
Darlene. She's come back on. Remember her from Georgia? She was my co-host.
Oh, Danielle?
Danielle. I keep calling you out. Danielle is back in the picture.
Danielle, yes, she was your host.
Yeah, and she got her son back finally after 2 years.
Great. Yeah, I'm just waiting till they turn 18 because I think that my brother tried guardianship, but to push it, but they started a little of the process, but then he got what is it? What's the word? He's got more busy with the property, the other one, and this one too. So it's just a nightmare for us with the property stuff. But I don't know. I think like if they're really like basically in West Hollywood, they keep harassing homeowners, the city for nonsense. That's how they make money, you know, for little violations and stuff. But I don't know. Basically, if you have a CPS case, CCFS will make your life a living nightmare forever.
Yeah.
If you have property. If you have property, they will make sure that you don't have it. I know that.
Well, yeah.
They'll never forget you.
I had to sell my house. I lost my property.
Yeah, I know. You explained it so many times. You lost your property because you couldn't maintain the payments and so forth.
Well, I needed the money for hiring Mr. Davis.
Right. And it's difficult to financially now for all of us because for me and you, it's difficult. But, you know, I mean, I have my foundation now because after the hospital, it helps like people like parents like us, and it's called Better Together, and it's just I don't want anybody to lose their kids, or even like your dad.
Right.
You know, remember your parents. I mean, you know, and you know, kids and so forth. It just helps. I mean, I could talk about my case. You can ask me. I'm open about it. I'm just recovering from all this surgery and everything. It's kind of like, you know, a unique experience, but I'll write it in my book. Okay. Yes.
Let me talk to the people on my screen. I have somebody named CJ Harrington. Welcome to the live stream. I have no idea what you're talking about because this is for CPS matters. And you said there's a national rally for People United We Stand. Well, that's great. But this is not the forum. This is for CPS, either a comment, you know, or a question about your case. So, CJ, also, you need to tell me where you're from. Anybody that texts a message has to tell me where you're from to be recognized, okay?
Yes.
So that was the only one. Now, Phyllis Gibson, welcome. She's from New Brunswick, Canada. I remember her. She's one of my Canadians, and she's on the show. Hold on a second, Natalie. I'm just going to talk to these people first before I get back to you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. My computer's still busted, so.
Oh, what happened to it?
Well, sad to say, the cursor's getting bad. It's skipping pages and stuff, and I'm trying to save up money for a new computer.
Oh, I know.
And tonight, I was late getting on, not because my computer, my contact lens, I thought I put it in my eyeball, I was resting my eyes, and it wasn't there. And I looked and looked for 12 minutes. I finally found it on the side of the sink.
Oh my gosh.
I checked the garbage disposal, I checked the floor, I checked the doors, I checked the towel, I checked my clothes. I can't believe how lucky I was to find it. Because
You're very lucky.
It's about $300 to get a new set of contact lenses, so it's expensive.
Oh, really? My brother gets his at Costco, but I don't know how much they charge.
His may be throwaway. Mine are Permadol. They're a different type of contacts. They're hard, but they have little tiny holes in them.
Well, I don't need them. Yeah. I see well. It's just.
Yeah. Let me read what Philistine says. Now, Philistine's from a Facebook, so I have to put her comment on the screen. She's Philistine Gibson.
Philistine. She's Palestinian.
No.
Same thing.
No, this is Philistine.
That's what it means.
Okay, well, this is her first name is Philistine Gibson, and she's from Rirachi, New Brunswick, Canada. 3 indigenous children taken away from their mother and not given to the father. When the 3 children were given back to the father, 2 of them were, oh boy, they had a lot of problems against them. I can't talk about a lot of the subject matter on my show. Anyway, it's really sad. And he was hunting for $150,000 hush money. And that was in March of 25. Wow. Now, Philistine has talked on the show. And I'm glad to see you here, and thank you for sharing me that. Now, I just put on there to communicate here. Please text me a question or a comment about your CPS matter. And please give me your first name, your city or county, and the state you're in. And if you're from around the world, you're welcome here to speak from around the world. Put in your country. Now, so far I have 21 countries. It's grown a little bit, Natalia. It's grown. I now have 21. I have Indonesia.
You have 21 countries on the show.
Right.
That's remarkable, because I've been doing this like you for 15 years, telling everybody that my children were trafficked and stolen, and it's been an emotional nightmare, but I've been keeping strong. And I'm going to tell you something. If you have a tumor, it's remarkable that I lived, okay? I lived with it, and you guys who don't have your kids, you will have them one day. It's just a matter of time. Okay. So
let me continue on.
Okay.
I'll get back to you in a second. Anyway, it's Indonesia, Bangladesh, India. Then in Middle East, it's Libya, and then it's Saudi Arabia. Then over to Africa.
Libya. Wow.
Yeah. Then over to Africa, it's Liberia, and then it's Sudan, and then Rwanda and Mozambique, and several provinces in South Africa. Then up to Europe, it's England, Scotland, and Wales, Denmark, and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, it's 4 provinces in Canada, all the 50 states in the United States, including British Columbia, which isn't a state. Then south of the border,
Canada.
No, this was in the United States. District of Columbia. Okay. I meant the District of Columbia, not British
District
Columbia.
of Columbia. Okay, yes, the District of Columbia.
Right.
Yes.
And the District of Columbia. And then south of the border is Mexico. And then down in South America, north of Brazil on the East Coast is Grenada. Then across the South Pacific, it's been New Zealand, and then land down under Australia, 2 states there. 2 states there. So that's quite a group of people. It's over 1,000 people I've talked to. Over 1,000 people. And all those people have something in common that I have and Natalie has, is they took our children needlessly. They weren't in danger, and they took our children. Not only that, they will not give back our children, and we have to fight them. That's the problem, is fighting CPS. CPS is very...
Them. And let me tell you something, parents. No matter what, it affects your soul. It affects everything that who you are when you don't have your child. And that's what I learned so much from this. And I've been doing this for like over a year with Bob. You know, parents, your child belongs to you no matter what. It's not a piece of paper. They're your child, and you have to keep fighting for them. It's very hard. The system is rigged to set up for you not to get your child, because it's just a child trafficking organization. It's like a big, Bob knows how much $1 trillion they make, how much they make. Right?
Right. Anyway, going back to what I was talking about, was that this...
Okay.
These comments that you text me, please tell me about your CPS case. And lastly, if you want to be a guest on my live stream, please email a date and a time you want to be on. Now, I'm on 14 times a week. I'm on every day during the weekdays at 10 a.m., Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. And then at the evenings, before I forget, on Saturday and Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock. Then every night of the week, or every day of the week in the weekend, all 7 days, I'm on at 7 o'clock. So that's 14 live streams that you can pick from. So just email Grace, and she can be emailed at grace@vincentwdavis.com. She's my show producer, and I appreciate her. And that's how you can be on there. And another way that you can be on this podcast is to call in, and I put my phone number up. My phone number is 626-698-0990. That's my number. I am live. Right now I'm talking to Natalie from West Hollywood, who hasn't been around for a while, and she's sharing some of her story about her dealings with CPS and helping out all you. All you people that come back regularly, all part of family. I appreciate that. Now, one thing, by being a guest or calling in, you get a free 15-minute session with Vincent Davis, and he'll talk to you about any of your questions. Just make a list of questions, prioritize that, and then ask away, and he'll answer your questions. So a 15-minute private consultation, you get that by either calling in and talking on my live stream, or you're a guest on my live stream. That's all you have to do. It's real simple. You get 15 minutes. Now, if you want more time, and let's say you want 30 minutes, I have a special deal I made with Vincent Davis. At the bottom of my screen where ticket's going across, you can pay him $60 and you'll get 30 minutes in a private consultation. And so it gives you a little bit more time. All you have to do is go to the website, https://candidly.com/apps/VWD/Bob Pace. Use your credit card, reserve that time, and you have a chance to talk to him for 30 minutes for $60. His normal rate is $500 an hour. Now, if you want to hire him, you can reach him 888-888-8582. That's 888-888-8582. That's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. Now, when you call in, you get reception, so make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent me, okay? Make sure you tell them Bob Pace sent me. That's really, really, really important. And you can schedule a time with him. Now, Vincent Davis is $500 an hour. He has a retainer for the closest one is LA County, which is $5,000. He has a retainer for $5,000. For all the other areas, you need to ask specifically. But he is a very good child protection attorney. He knows how to fight the child protection services, the system. I call CPS the child protection system. Every state, every place has a different name, and it'd be too long to say all the names. Like in LA County, it's the Department of Children and Family Services.
Family Services.
Yeah,
DCFS,
right next,
guys.
right
DCFS.
next,
They're
right,
the biggest. Like
right
where
next,
I come from, it's DCFS
right.
because it's LA County, and even I don't know. I think in Riverside it is DCFS, but I'm not sure. But I know some parts of Orange County could be DCFS, but they could emerge into another name. I'm not sure.
Well, Orange County is a child protection system. All of Orange County is a child protection system. But I don't have time to go into 1,000 names so I just say child protection system. When I say the child protection system, it's a government entity that was created by Congress. Let me tell you about that. That government contracted, or it changed in the 60s is where it finally got started. Now, we've been protecting our children since the 1600s. We have actually 3 periods. I'm not going to go to all the cases in, but there's one period from 600 AD, 1600, I'm saying 600, 1600 AD to 1875. That's the first period. The second period is from 1875 to 1962, and the present day is 62 to 2025. Now, in the 60s, there was a completely increase in the role of child abuse. Once the medical schools started providing the necessary training, see, it wasn't to physicians that started to get training. And by 1967, all states legislated the need for medical professionals to report suspected child abuse cases. They're the first mandatory people that reported child abuse. California's first law mandating physicians report suspected child abuse was promulgated in 1963. All the people, whether you're a policeman or a nurse or a doctor or a school teacher, you're mandated by law to report abuse or neglect.
Yeah, but then my dad told me, because he's an attorney, by 1974 they actually even changed legislation and regulation of that.
I haven't gotten there yet, Natalie. Natalie, you're moving. Yeah, I know. I'll get there, Natalie. I'm just trying to start at 62.
Okay, because my dad was an attorney,
I know.
So he told me.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
There was a surge of reported cases of abuse, which skyrocketed to 60,000 by 1974. By 1990, there are over 2 million reports of abuse. Now, in the 1970s, Congress established the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, called CAPTA, C-A-P-T-A, in 1974. This was the first time that there were laws that could be enforced against parents that abuse their children. And so there was also more federal funds available to improve the state's response to all forms of abuse. Now, this was put on the National Center on the Child Abuse and Neglect. The kappa plays a vital role in our system. By the end of the 1970s, the U.S. had its first government-sponsored child protection for the whole nation. By 1976, all states had reporting laws requiring professional to report abuse. Much of the framework created the 70s exists in the 21st century, and it laid the crucial foundations what CPS is today.
So in the 70s, they just put all these more regulations, and they wanted to diverse it into all the states.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, any of you that have questions, Philistine, or anybody that wants to talk, please fax me a message. Also, Wayne Harris, I'd like to hear from you. I know you just joined. You came in 11:37 shortly after my live stream, but you're welcome to come in there. So this being Sunday night, it sometimes is kind of slow. We have on the phone Natalie from West Hollywood, California, sharing her experience in CPS. Unfortunately, she had a lot of medical issues the last couple months. I think the last time I saw her was before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and I barely could not breathe, but I pushed in the show, and by Thanksgiving, I could not breathe. And so I had 4% hemoglobin. And so, but I trucked on until like Jim Morrison's birthday, like December 8th, and I couldn't anymore. The neighbor called 911, and I had to stay like 2 weeks in the hospital, and I was released before Christmas. So I had my surgery, and and I didn't really tell them in the hospital that I lost all my children, and it was kind of because it's the same hospital where they trafficked my son at Cedar. So, but I can have children still, everybody.
Oh, I'm glad the tumor didn't affect you on that one. I'm glad the tumor didn't affect you.
No, it didn't. And they wanted to remove my uterus. And I was thinking to myself, I just kept fighting for my uterus. I said, you guys took my kids. Why do you want me not to have my uterus? Why? It's my uterus. It's my right to have a child. But they're telling me because of your age, blah, blah, blah. But not everybody's the same. You know, I've seen people at 47, 48 have children. But, I mean, women. But that's a different subject. So I'm happy I have my uterus. That's all. Yeah. I'm happy I'm here in the memory garden because I don't have much reception in the house. So. And I'm happy these girls next door moved.
Good.
Because their home is for sale. They were annoying. I was telling everybody on the last show that the dog kept barking and I couldn't explain the 388. It was so loud. Even Bob said, like, what is that? I said, it's a woman's dog next door. So, but it's a relief that they're not here.
You want to give a brief summary of your case so people can understand? Can you give a brief summary of your case?
A brief case description. So my parents were sick, and my mother was dying. My mom was dying of lung cancer, and so my mom and I were living with my two daughters in our home north of Sunset, close to UCLA. So I had a neighbor that was mentally unstable, and he kept calling in DCFS, saying I fed my children dog food, I left them alone, and all these things. Finally, unfortunately, it was I didn't know this was happening. So then I was always taking care of my daughters and my mom's pets and my mom, and anyway, I was like, so then like but first my dad, he passes away because he was diabetic and he was an attorney, and anyway, he passes away 9 months before my mom, and tragic, and like it was hard on me. And then 9 months later, my mom passes away, and then my brother, he says, well, I have to remodel the house here, like your mom and dad's house. It's like, you have to come live with the grandparents' house. I was like, well, no, I don't want to. But then when he brings us down to West Hollywood, so immediately, like, I think a month later, like, my brother, you know, we had an argument, and like the neighbors don't like my children. They don't like us. They don't like the dogs. They don't like anything. So they called the sheriff's department, and I opened the door, and I had a neighbor who was an elderly fellow, and he was visiting the girls with me while I was taking a shower, and I opened the door after I took a shower, and then so the pets, my mom's dogs are coming out on the street because the house is very close to the street. All these houses here are very close to the street. Even if you have a fence, it's like 4 feet in. It's not even 3 feet. So then they get upset, the police. They handcuff me. They take me to County USC Medical Center for psychiatric evaluation. They don't have a warrant for my children to be taken. Okay, they don't. They take the keys off my neck from my house in West Hollywood, and my house from my mom's house in out there on post UCLA. And my brother tries to get the girls back home, but they won't return them at the police station, the sheriff's department. My daughters are trafficked for like 3 days or more, and I don't even know where my daughters were. And I wasn't served with any papers or anything. I'm still in the for 2 days in the psychiatric hospital there. They thought I was mentally unstable, which is nonsense. The police, they made that up. So then I get released 2 days later.
I lost you for a second, Natalie. I'm sorry. Please continue. Natalie? Natalie, you there? Natalie, you there? Hello, Natalie. Natalie, you there? Hey. Hello.
Hello?
I lost
Hello?
your voice. I don't know what happened, but I called you back.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I basically was released from the hospital, the county, you know. So that I didn't know where my children were until, like, my dad's friend was an attorney said, they're in the system, and I freaked out. I was like, here I am, and I don't. And then DCFS is playing a game with me. I was like, I need to visit my children, and then I go to court, and they keep changing judges, and finally they get me this horrendous judge. Horrendous. She's horrible. She is a big child trafficker. Anyway, so then I have to fight to get to see my children. I had to fight to just get one visit. Okay, that's incredible. They accuse me of like giving them dog food, leaving them alone. I'm crazy. I don't know what's happening. I spent like over $30,000 on this thing, and I didn't get my kids back. And I'm just heartbroken. I mean, I went through surgery. I wish my children were there, but you know, this is what DCF does to all parents. They want you to just disappear, but I'm not disappearing. Okay, I even advocate for all parents, even the dead parents. I mean, it's crazy, but you should advocate for those kids, no matter what, because they knew my parents were dead, so they wanted to take advantage of me because they saw that we had property. They saw that we could be crazy or whatever, but they're still bothering me for nonsense. So I just want to say that, like, I filed over 65 3D8 petitions, and then we can explain about that, Bob, the 3D8 petitions in California.
Yeah. Well, that sort of gives a summary of what your case is for people listening. I need to do some business right here for the moment.
Okay.
We need your help, and we have a new thing. We're trying to get you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, CPS Defense Strategy Consultant Vince Davis. It's running across the bottom of my screen. We're going to start a newsletter. It's $1.99, and we'll have articles from myself and from Vincent Davis, and to be really, really good. Hi, Sol Goodman. Good evening and welcome. Hi, Chew Baby. Chew Baby is from Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. We got Natalie that is from West Hollywood, California, talking about her CPS case. So anyway, to help support us, we would like you to subscribe to this newsletter. It's $1.99, and it'll have all kinds of information, not only about us, but other people, about their life and their story and things like that. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, CPS Defense Strategy Consultant Vince Davis. Now, another thing is, besides there, is that we have two websites that you can visit. One is called the Stand Store, /attorney VWD, or the vincentwdavis.com. Those are the two websites. Now, the first one has all the consulting classes that he has. Also, he has his books for sale. At that number, 888-888-6582, you can also ask when Mr. Davis is on and when I'm on, or things like that, besides just hiring him. Also, you can buy books from him. Now, I have a new book out, or Vincent has a new book out called The Steps for Parents to Get Guardianship of Their Grandchildren, a step-by-step guide in California. Now, this guide will also work good in other states, and it's good for mothers, not only grandparents. It's $9.99, but it's on sale for half off if you use my code. That's PACE, P-A-C-E, all capital letters, 50. You'll get 50% discount for that guide. It's an excellent guide. There's other guides that he has, other books that will help you. So please visit the Stand Store or ask 888-888-6582. That's reception. If you have any problems or you have a scheduled time and Vincent Davis isn't there, call that number. Call that number. Now, the last thing I have, let me see, I have that and subscribe. I think that's it. I think I pretty much have covered all the things there. Well, those are my rules. I haven't got into my rules yet. Yeah, I have 5 rules. Natalie is well familiar with my rules. I have 5 of them. One is you need to get an attorney that is licensed and trained in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. 2, you need to keep track of your documents and get there. Hold on a second, Natalie. I got someone coming in. Hold on. Hello, this is the live stream of Bob Pace. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Bob. It's Chew Baby.
Hi, Chew Baby. I got Natalie still on the phone. Did you want to talk for a bit?
Well, I'll let you talk to Natalie, and then I could always give you a call another time.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, well, I'll let you talk to Natalie, and I can give you a call another time. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just can only talk to one person on the phone.
No, I totally get that. Go ahead and talk to Natalie, and we'll talk another time.
Okay, well, thank you for calling in, True Baby. Thank you very much.
All right, honey. You have a great night.
I will. Bye-bye. Okay, Natalie, you there? Natalie, you there?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm here. Yes.
That was Chew Baby from Virginia
Hi,
that
True Baby.
wanted to talk, but I said you actually had the phone, so she said go ahead and talk, and she'll talk
Okay.
another night. So Chew Baby will
Okay.
call again there. So anyway, it's strange. My phone, I can only talk to one person at a time. Now, if I have people on my guest, I can talk 9 of you at one time. But
right on the I know, on the internet with the texting and stuff.
Right, that says I can host up to 9 people talking.
Right. So I don't have internet now because it's so expensive. It's like $50 to $100 here, so that's insane. I will not pay for that.
How about the government's internet? That's no good anymore?
They don't have it anymore. No more government internet. No. There's no more government internet, so people like me at low income suffer from that, and I'm not going to pay for it. I'm just going to save the $300.
When did the internet for low income stop?
Last year in April, in 2024 April.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
So I thought I'll save that money and give it to my children for their 529E college savings plan, and also for my foundation. So it helps. It's called Better Together, and it helps like parents like us, and also dead parents in their memory that lost their life or don't have their children and so forth. So this is very important for me because this is about awareness, about like what DCFS does to people and does to children and their parents and families. So it's like I rely on like donations. So people in Beverly Hills give me like their items and like clothing and stuff, and I sell them. You know, I don't make much money, but I sell them, and it goes back into the fund. And I don't really use,
Yeah.
I mean, even bottles I'm doing, but I get busted for that.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about my case. Oh, you're talking about your notebook. Okay.
Yeah, I said
go back again.
Number 2 is the notebook, which is documents everything. And there's an important paper called the Timeline Incident Form. That's where you keep track of all your incidents that happen, either from the police or from social services or from the school or whatnot. And you keep track of all the incidents. You use 3 lines of the notebook for every notebook paper for every incident. The first line is the phone number, then the location, and then the date and time and the people you talk to. The next line is a summary of what the incident's about, and then the third line is the outcome of the incident. So you try to do that with everyone, because in a year's time, you will not remember all the incidents. And the incidents are important because you can tell the court or your attorney or other people what happened, because you'll try to remember it, but it won't be all in your memory. And then rule number 3 is that you don't let them in your home. Too many people have been shot.
You never let them in their home. I'm going to tell you, people, they need a warrant, even if it's code enforcement, even DCFS, anybody, the police, they need a warrant.
You were taught in the early years as a small child, never talk to strangers. The policemen, the social service workers are strangers, so you don't let them in your home. Too many people have been shot and killed by answering the door. And so
I always thought they were going to kill me for like 2.5 cents of a water bottle. Honest to God, Paul. When they caught me in the alley over there for like a water bottle out of a trash bin, which is
I don't understand, because the value of that water bottle used is a nickel. So I don't know how they could charge you with any crime.
No, I know. It's just ridiculous, because they say they have like this rule where you can't look in the trash can, but it's not posted, so anybody would go into a public alley and think, well, no, they don't want any of this. Because my dad told me, he's like, once it hits like a public way, the trash, it's for everybody. Because that's a fire road.
Right.
So I have to go to court and plead not guilty and it's going to cost me some time, but I'm sure they'll give me a fine that's worth more than like $200 for 2.5 cents for a water bottle. Because it's a clear one. Number one, everybody.
Well, I would fight it. Ask them traffic school. Ask them traffic school and see what they say.
Traffic school, yeah, when I have a little wagon there, traffic school, right?
Yeah.
God, like, it's just getting too violent here, and it's getting even more violent. I have a stalker. I have, like, this, I've been followed home. Somebody knocks on the gate a lot. I mean, it's just crazy, and I don't know. I mean, they're upset because they even accused me of like having animals in my yard and all this stuff. And like my brother got the letter from the city and he's like, that's not true because I have Hitler, my cat. So basically, DCFS will continue for the rest until forever. It's not like some random person. They always accuse of your neighbors. I'm like, no, that's not your neighbors. It's just DCFS.
Okay, hold on, Natalie. I need to ask some people in the room. Saul Goodman, I have no idea where you're from, and do you have a question for myself or Natalie? Also, Chew Baby, you called in. It was good to hear your voice. Do you have a question for me or Chew Baby? And then we have a new member of YouTube, Wayne Harris. And do you have a question? So if anybody has any questions. Now, I was a little late tonight. It's now 8 o'clock, but I go a little bit longer. Because I don't want you to feel you're shortchanged. But it doesn't sound like we have very many people in here tonight. It's a slow night, so I may be cutting it short. My shows go to 8 o'clock. And I want to thank all of you, Chew Baby, for coming here again and for calling in, Richmond, Virginia. Saul Goodman, I have no idea, but I want you to come again and talk if you have something like to talk about. Philistine from Canada, it's so good to talk to you again. And I remember you talking on the show. And so I understand your situation with the indigenous children in the indigenous people of Canada. So that is hard for you, Philistine. And I want to thank our new member for joining this live stream, Wayne Harris. I have no idea where you're at, but he wanted to contribute something there too. So thank you all for listen. And I want you to keep fighting for your kids. Now, I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. Okay. And we can talk more about my rules and more things to help you. So please come up with some questions tomorrow and ask me tomorrow, and I help you out there. Oh, Chew Baby just got a question in. My biggest question is what triggered the CPS investigation? And my second question is, what is keeping the CPS investigation intrigued to keep investigating? Well, what happens with the CPS investigation is someone, either a layperson or a professional person that works with children, called into the CPS office and made a complaint. When they do that, CPS takes it for real. Right away, you're guilty. It's the only agency that you're guilty before you're proven innocent. And
right, it's not like criminal law.
Right, no, and you should be innocent till you're proven guilty. But when they call in,
right, but you're just guilty,
are guilty
because of hearsay.
Right.
It's called hearsay.
Right,
and so it's admissible in California. In 1983, the Supreme Court of California said it's fine to have hearsay be heard in juvenile dependency court.
Okay, let me finish this, Natalie. So, I lost my train of thought. The investigation will go on until they find something that they charge you with. So her second question is, It's what's keep the CPS fashion intrigued, keep investigating. Money. It's all about money, True Baby. They want to have your child in there for a full 18 years because they can collect a lot of money. So with my kids, we're in the system. The Orange County Child Protection System was getting $20,000 per child per month. That was $60,000 for three of my children. And they had my children for 3 years. And it was awful because all that money in there went to bonuses and incentives and went to the social workers. It does not go back to the state or whatever it does. They use all the money.
It never goes back to anything but them. And like the foster parents, they can get a brand new house. They get new cars. Your child is literally like living with nothing. And they're being abused and they're being sexually attacked. And it's the truth.
Yeah. Okay, Natalie. We don't need to digress here, but I'm just trying to answer Chew Baby's questions.
Right.
So they will keep investigating until you get an attorney to chase them away. You see, CPS doesn't like Mr. Davis. He's one of the top attorneys. So when you get an attorney that can fight CPS, that's the only way that you're going to get away from it. So Chew Baby, I know it sounds rough, but you have to keep fighting. You can't fight. Now, Chew Baby's in Virginia, so you have to prove an intent, whether it's CPS or private. And due to the Constitution, you have to prove a lot of intent. And the Constitution goes to California law too. Yeah, I understand that. Right. I understand that, but it seems some states, it says some states are very easily corrupt, and they'll do it for money. Some states will. There are parts of Virginia that are corrupt. There's parts of California that are corrupt. So it's all that. But I do have to go. But thank you all for listening. I'm going to lose my voice here. God bless you. Good night.
God bless you. Good night. I'll pray for y'all.
Yeah, I will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning.